Youth pastor, let me guess, you have a desire for the students that you have been entrusted to in your care to come to learn, know, love, and follow Jesus. And let me guess, part of that strategy, part of that way that you help students do that is to show up for them and to be there when they have difficult and tough questions, to help them answer and make sense of life which is around them. Well, according to Pew Research, 95% of teenagers have used, will use, or plan to use the platform of YouTube. And so from the most conservative parents in your church who would never even imagine letting their kids enter the World Wide Web, to all the way to the least restrictive parents who gave their kids a phone and let them have wild access to the internet, YouTube is a great strategy and a great platform for students and student ministry. Like if in your youth ministry context you're using YouTube, subscribe if you're not, and hey, either way, hit the bell because we're in a playlist called YouTube for Youth Ministries. But how do we start posting content to YouTube? Like, you might know these stats, you might know it's important, you might know students are on there, you might know it's a really accessible platform, but how do you actually begin filming, editing, recording, and posting videos to YouTube? Well, this is the perfect video because in it, I want to share with you what gear you can use to start leveling up your YouTube game with simply just shooting on your cell phone. I also want to talk about how you can manage your time to fit in the process of filming YouTube videos and posting it. I'm also going to give you some next steps directly out of this video so that you can start doing some side benefits for you, and then finally how to actually edit your video so that it looks good and professional and fits the vibe that's going on YouTube. Welcome to the Hybrid Ministry Show. So if you're anything like me and you work at a church, you look around your youth room and you compare it to the auditorium or the main church room that the rest of your big church is using, where your pastor's preaching on Sunday morning, and you probably look and think, man, I don't have the gear to capture my services and post them on YouTube. And the answer to that is probably unequivocally 100% accurate. You probably don't, right? But I actually have linked right here on screen my 100% completely free ebook, which is called 40 Done For You Posting Tools, which really, honestly, maybe needs a new title, because what it ultimately is my complete philosophy as well as strategy guide for leveling up your YouTube and your social media game. It's all about creating custom content for YouTube. And so one of the elements in that ebook, if you click it and if you download it, is a link to a blog that I have created called YouTube Gear on a Budget. And simply what it is it will help you level up your YouTube gear if you choose to shoot video on your phone. That is, of course, the most expensive piece is that camera piece, but you can level up your game for less than $100 by adding in some external microphones. I have linked in the ebook Bluetooth wireless microphones, a shotgun style microphone for Android, the same things for iPhones as well. Also, just like a phone-based tripod, you can get a tabletop one that's a little shorter, or you can get a full-length standing tripod, as well as a basic ring light so your videos look decent with lighting. You can also take care of most of that by just filming in a space that has some good lighting. And then if you do want to go the next layer beyond just $100 or less, if you want to stop shooting on your phone and you want to start shooting on a good camera, the one that I recommend, that was recommended to me by Sean CANNEL via his YouTube channel, check Sean CANNEL out and Think Media. If you haven't had a chance, he is the YouTube guru. But the SONY ZV-E-10, it's a great camera. We bought it along with a lens for about $700 in our student ministry space. One-time purchase, but now we're using it, and we're using it for everything. We're using it for long-form videos as well as vertically shot and vertically based videos. But one of the pieces, one of the challenges for most youth pastors is that we're running from fire to fire to fire to fire, and meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting, and kid who needs counseling, and all the different things, all the different demands of our space and our time. Well, linked right here at the top of this video is my 100% completely free, foolproof strategy for good time management. And here's the honest truth. Frankly, like, there are always going to be issues. There are always going to be struggles. There are always going to be fires and things that pop up on your calendar. But if you manage your time, and just a little sneak peek, like, you are 100% completely in charge of your time and your time management. And so if you don't make a priority and a space in your calendar to sit down and pre-film your messages like we're talking about here, like, you are not going to be able to start posting content to YouTube. You have to make it a priority. Just like you make sitting down and crafting a Wednesday night program a priority, you also have to make sitting down and pre-filming your messages a priority. So you're probably going to have to get several weeks in advance on this, both on your teaching scope and curriculum, which linked down below. I have linked to my 5 favorite teaching curriculum, so go check that out in a video that we've dropped not too long ago. You can check that out if you're interested in something like that. But you'll plan your curriculum, and then you'll write out your teaching, and then you'll sit down and you'll deliver the message direct to camera, all because you told your time what was going to happen to it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't counsel students and meet with their senior pastor and plan for your Wednesday night, but if pre-filming your messages, if getting the message of Jesus and the message of hope out on the internet, on YouTube, is important to you, then you need to determine when you're going to place that thing on your calendar to do. Now, just like this YouTube video, all YouTube videos have a description section. And so when you are preaching or teaching or delivering some piece of content direct to camera on the screen, you can always say down below in the description are links. And so for every single video that I post on my Student Ministries YouTube channel, we post 2 links. The first link is a Next Steps digital type connect card. Now think about if you're live in the room and you want to challenge students to take the next step of getting baptized, or if you're live in the room and they prayed to receive Christ, or they just need some sort of prayer, you might point them to a physical connect card in the seat back in front of them, or at the middle of like a table or something like that if you're sitting around tables in your space. Well, in the same way, you can offer a digital version. And I mean, let's be honest, if they fill out a physical connect card, probably you are taking that, capturing that information digitally somehow, whether that be in your church management system and software, or if it's just by tracking that information via something more basic like Excel. Nonetheless, you take it from a physical moment to digital. And so if you can offer a digital based connect card, then you know that you are going to be getting that information and you're going to be cutting out that middleman portion. The other thing that I offer in our digital or our link in our description in most of our YouTube videos is what we call our digital notes platform. And our digital notes is simply using the free YouVersion live events. And so if you've ever used that before, it's a thing that you can create, and on the back end on YouVersion, the Bible app, you create a live service. And so I set our digital notes to go quote unquote live, so it's discovered in the live kind of panel of your YouVersion Bible app. It's when you discover when your church is live, and so I set that for when we're teaching our message live, so same date, same time. However, it does at the end give you a small URL. And so then the plan, the digital notes plan, the live event can be clicked on and accessed at any time, regardless of if it is quote unquote live in the YouVersion Bible app. And so you can put text, you can put images, you can put Bible passages, and then the followers along, they can create private notes based off of all of those things. They can save them so that they can kind of archive them and come back later. But one of my favorite pieces to the digital notes is that you can create an external link. And so again, if a student is following along live in the room or on YouTube, at the end they can have a live link to go out to a digital connect card. They can have a live link to go out to camp signups. They can have a live link to go out to whatever you want it to be, whatever sort of call to action, whatever sort of next step your message may be pointing students toward. The other thing is, of course, it is on YouVersion, and so you can also link Bible reading plans directly in there as well. And so think about it. What if you had a whole message on the importance of reading the Bible and getting in God's Word, and then what if you actually had a Bible reading plan that they could start reading that night or the next morning, that they could start and join and begin reading to help them follow through on what you were talking about? So obviously, in addition, right, like in addition to posting videos to YouTube to reach more students, it's where 95% of teenagers have or will or plan to spend some of their time, or at least use the app in some way, shape, or form. There are, I think, 5 additional like benefits to sitting down and pre-filming your talks direct to camera. Benefit number 1 is more practice. It gives you an opportunity to engage with your content more frequently than just getting up and teaching it live on a Wednesday night or Sunday morning or whenever that might be. And so by the time you do actually get around on Wednesday night or Sunday morning to deliver your content direct to camera, you've already delivered it at least once. And if you need more takes, maybe 2 or 3. And so you're much more familiar with the content and the concepts that you were teaching. Benefit number 2 is, of course, you're going to be forced to get ahead. You're going to be forced to be working ahead in your delivery of this content and preparation. So my workflow goes, I sit down and I write it all out, and not linked in my $100 or less leveling up guide, but one that is recommended potentially. You just may have to get a beefier tripod. Is using a teleprompter holder. And so you can get a teleprompter and you can use an iPad with the free teleprompter app. But so I sit down, I prep my message, and I script it out, and I manuscript it word for word. 2,000 or 2,500 words is usually a good length for YouTube. It helps me hopefully shoot in under the 15-minute mark. That's always my goal on time. Write it all out, and then deliver it direct to camera. That's where I include things like subscribe and cards linked up at the top and end screens. Like I write and spell every single thing out word for word, so that then the teleprompter will just kind of do its thing and flow right in front of me, and I just read it, directly there. It does take a little bit of work to get used to it. It is a skill that's not exactly natural. You can do it, but I'm just letting you know, get used to it. Then also I have I then take the manuscript, the full YouTube manuscript, and I use Google Drive, and so I create a new copy of that in a different folder, and I rename it Live Talk Notes. And so then I go back through that and I add highlights, and I add all of those types of things. Like, yellow is like a on screen or slide. Green is like any scripture or whatever. Any video clips, because I may not actually show a video clip on when I'm filming it to YouTube. If I do, it might just be some B-roll over top of the background, as opposed to showing a full on video clip, stop, pause the room, watch the screen, come back type of thing. Video clips and interactive elements, I add all those things, but I do it in a completely different document, and I adapt it from the manuscript to more of an outline type style. And then as I'm doing that, I'm also building slides and putting it into a thing like Sidekick, where I can use integrated tools like the wheel and name picker and the live voting elements and all those types of things. More info linked down below on Sidekick, sidekick.tv. And so my workflow is, I'm ahead, I write it, I deliver it direct to camera, and then I also readapt it to be taught in the room. In between when I shoot it and readapt it is when we're editing it, we're posting it, we're adding thumbnails, we're adding time codes, all the YouTube type things that need to take place so that it is live, usually the Monday before. We post it on Monday and then deliver it live in the room on Wednesday, and then our students discuss it again on the following Sunday morning. So that whole week on social, our focus is, Monday it drops, Wednesdays are live teaching, and then Sunday they discuss it, and then woven all throughout there are, several different like kind of teaching video, social media type clips. Benefit number 3 is it will help you create evergreen type content. Evergreen content is just a marketing word for content that is always relevant. In fact, last night I had a student from a former ministry and a former church that's going through a difficult and tough time say, hey, like I'm having a hard time, like things are rough, and they've had some bad news and some kind of tragedy hit their family, and so we don't even have this live yet. Like we're getting these back right now from our editor, but we are about to launch into a series called When Bad Things Happen. We taught it as a student ministry team, and like I said, it's not live on YouTube yet, but I was sending her the links to our direct Dropbox like videos, or Google Drive videos, so that she could watch it. And that's, again, like that's one of the benefits of filming your content, is that when someone's going through a hard time who lives 1,000 miles away, you can send them stuff like this that might be able to help them get through it and navigate through life. You see, this isn't just a vanity thing. Like you can help students, you can help care for students, shepherd students, disciple students, teach students when you film your content. That's what you want to do live in the room, right? The difference is church is often built like a organization that's trying to capture people through a cable TV style of marketing, as opposed to an on-demand style of marketing. And when you pre-film your messages, you can start to wade into that quote-unquote on-demand type of messaging. So when someone's going through a hard time, or when someone needs a guide to how to use the Bible, or whatever it is that you have taught that is valuable, you can send them to your YouTube channel for a link to evergreen content, to content that matters. And side benefit number 4, of course, is it's the antidote. It is the cure to travel sports. Not entirely, like that kid's still traveling to baseball. But if you pre-film your messages while they're still going to be traveling to baseball, would you rather them travel to baseball and miss out on church altogether? Or would you rather them travel to baseball and still have the opportunity to catch up on the series, to hear the message, to learn the thing? Like, I think we would all take option 2. I mean, maybe we would all like option 3, which is like nuking travel baseball so that it never happens again. But since that's probably not going to be an option, we'll settle for option number 2. But side benefit number 5 of pre-filming your messages is Sean Cannell, the guru of YouTube, has a strategy called Ask Specific Questions, ASQ, or actually not ask, answer specific questions. So think about it, right? You can answer your students' specific questions. For example, how do I respond when bad things happen? Boom. That's a teaching series. Answer that question. Post that to YouTube. The goal is not necessarily to go viral and be caught and seen by other students in other states and other student ministries, though that can be something that happens, but that's not the goal, right? The goal is to create content that is going to be helpful and beneficial, to answer specific questions about God, about faith, about theology, to the students that God has entrusted into you and into your care. Once you've shot the content, you now move into the hardest space of all of this process, probably, which is editing. And there are some free different ways that you can do it. CapCut, DaVinci Resolve, those are linked down below in the description, but also linked right here on screen is the best editing tools and the best editing apps. How to edit, how to level up your editing, and why editing on videos does actually matter. So go ahead, take a look at that video. We'd love to catch you over there as we are continuing on our YouTube for Youth Ministry playlist. Don't forget, and as always, stay hybrid.